Howdy folks, welcome to the Lee Street broadcast. Before we begin, I just want to say that although this is an audio-only broadcast, I have all this video game footage of Fallout 4, so it's been kind of burning a hole in my hard drive. So it's all been edited together, and I have it playing along with the audio from this next episode, which will be a couple of conversations with my friend Cameron about some TNG episodes. One's called Justice, the next one is Datalore, and then finally we have the best of both worlds. So I just wanted to put this in here to let you know that the gameplay footage has really nothing to do with the audio. I just wanted to do something with it because I wasn't going to do anything with it otherwise, so enjoy.
Enjoy your return to the surface, and thank you for choosing Vault Tech.
Cameron, you're my long-time friend from way back when.
Yes.
And we're here to talk about Star Trek.
Yes, we are.
So Cameron and I watched an episode of Star Trek The Next Generation. Well, a couple. Did you watch Datalore yet?
Yeah, I saw it this afternoon.
Okay. Well, we should talk about the first one, which
Justice?
I can't remember the name. It's called Justice.
I think it's called Justice, yeah.
Yeah. All right, tell the fine folks, give them a brief summary of Justice to catch them up. They've seen it, but just to give them a refresher.
Okay. So in Justice, there's this
Season 1,
episode 7, I'm pretty sure. So what happens is they discover this planet that is filled with these, beautiful people on there. Very interesting. They don't walk, they run to different places, and it's almost like this heavenly world where like nothing wrong happens and everything is fine. They're like, it's this heavenly world and everything is going perfectly, nothing bad is happening. But then you find out later on that their punishment system, their crime and punishment system is just purely like, oh, if you do one bad thing, we kill you.
if you're in the zone.
In the, I think it's called...
There's a zone that changes throughout the planet.
The punishment zone.
Yes.
It's called the punishment zone.
And it changes every year or so, something like that. I don't know how often it changes, but it's an area that moves around the planet.
It's changed randomly per day. And it's
Per day?
It's per day. And no one really knows where it is. But if you do anything in those zones that go against the rules, you're killed immediately. It's not a painful death either. They shoot you with like a dart or something, and
It's a little vial of poison. They have a a little needle
yeah, they pretty much inject you, and then
on the spot too.
yeah, and they're too casual about it. They're like
Way too casual.
no, don't worry. I mean, don't worry. It's gonna be painless, right? Like, okay, but yeah, it's a really interesting episode. It's the first episode of the entire series to feature multiple shops filmed on a location. And those locations were actually in Los Angeles, the Van Nuys, and the Huntington Library in San Francisco. And it's actually the second most viewed episode in the entire season.
Really?
I think it's because it's full of half-naked people.
Oh, yeah, that's true. It is
Yeah.
almost pornographic.
Yeah, everyone in the planet is wearing like either a bikini or like short shorts if you're a dude.
Or a bikini with like just a front covering.
Yeah, if you're
like that was the craziest one.
it's like
No backstrap, just like a thing that's held right on the chest.
Yeah,
And that's
it's like the guys have this thing where it's like an X pattern where like the bottom.
I wanted to try to describe that, but I couldn't. Think of how to describe it.
really weird. Like the bottom part of it is like the triangle that goes up to the waist, and then there's another triangle flipped upwards, upside down, on top of that. So it's like they're,
It's unusual.
their nipples are out, but they're also wearing shoulder pads. It's
The men's nipples are out.
yeah, and it's really like weird. But it is an interesting.
So I was talking to my mom about this last night because we were just watching somewhere in season 2 a Dr. Pulaski episode, and I was saying the Next Generation, the look of it, the look and the feel of the ship and the costumes and everything, it was modern at the time, and then it probably reached a point where it looked dated in like 2005. It was like, oh, this looks like the 80s. and it kind of looked old. But now that we're in 2025 and things have shifted again to where, at least with me, it looks futuristic again. Like those outfits are definitely, like, the first time you see it, it's like shocking. But it's supposed to be alien. So I think that worked perfectly.
Yeah. It's I like that episode. Sorry, I got my notes here. I have a note here that says ball used to play catch was picked up from a ball bin at Walmart.
Oh, really?
Oh, I don't know. It looks like something that you pick up from, like...
Yeah, probably. They probably just went to the store.
And
what happens with the ball?
Oh, so what happens is the main plot. So Wesley's going out hanging out with people like his age or whatever in this garden area, which ends up being a punishment zone. And one of the kids...
But he doesn't know.
No.
Wesley does not. None of them know the rule.
No, they don't. And this kid throws like a ball into a garden or something, and Wesley runs through it and like just accidentally falls in this garden. And immediately, like right off the rip, 2 guards start chasing him with like...
Yeah.
You don't know why. And then you find out like, oh, they're just going to kill him.
They're mediators, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember the term they use for it.
Yeah. And I have a few more notes, but yeah, it's an overall like really intriguing episode because like
So Wesley catches the ball, falls into this garden, he breaks this barrier, and he jumps. In order to catch the ball, he kept running, and he made a big jump, and he wasn't looking where he was going. And there are these white bars, these white barrier bars that you're not supposed to cross. And everyone on the planet knows not to cross them, because if you cross them, you'll get in trouble, obviously. And you know what happens when you get in trouble. But Wesley doesn't know this. They didn't tell the Enterprise crew any of this.
It's kind of a jerk move also for the kid to
Fucked
just like...
up.
The kid threw the ball
in
the direction of where the bar is. It was like, they won't get it. He just threw it, and it was like, whoa, wait, he's going.
So that's a great point. That kid is liable, right?
Yeah.
Already, you and I sitting here have a more fit justice system than this planet. That kid is liable. But even past that, right? So Wesley, he catches the ball. He falls. He passes the white barrier that you're not supposed to pass. He falls into the garden, and then you like you said, you see the guards come, and then but Wesley, he's getting up. He's dusting himself off. The first thing Wesley says is, "I'm fine. You're fine. I'm safe. I'm not hurt. Everything's fine." Because all his kid friends they're like freaking out. But he doesn't know why they're freaking out.
Yeah, like
so he's just, he's like, yeah, no, I'm fine. There's no need to worry. It's okay. I'll be all right.
Yeah, and then they just immediately pull out this vial of poison, and they're about to like shoot.
The guards do.
Yeah.
So 2 guards in gray. I think they're wearing gray costumes. They come running up. Yeah. Because they're all went everywhere.
The one kid's not even going to get charged for accessory to ball throwing, which is nuts.
Yeah, that's insane. And while this is going on, Tasha Yar is talking to I think it's Tasha. She's talking to one of the locals.
Yeah.
And they were describing the law system that you told earlier. Mm-hmm. And then that's when they kind of figure it all out. And by that point, everyone's running towards Wesley. So the kids are there. The guards are running towards them. The Enterprise away crew gets there right after the guards do. And they're like, hey, we didn't know this. You can't just kill Wesley. You can't just kill this kid for,
They're like, no, that's the rule.
Yeah, that's their way. And they're not changing.
They believe in a God.
Yeah.
That, it has kind of, in a way, brought them peace and prosperity, even though their way of resolving it is by just killing someone. This God that they're talking about is actually like a projection, I think, of a spaceship, right?
It's in orbit, and it's like out of phase with reality slightly. So the Enterprise can see it, but it looks like it's halfway in our visual spectrum and halfway out of phase with it.
It's actually kind of a cool looking structure. I can't explain it. It's not like a
Yeah, it is hard to explain.
when you think of the word God, usually it's like a beam of light or like some kind of like human
Angelic.
bipedal thing. But like this thing, it's a ship,
Yeah.
and it's actually like pretty cool to look at. And it's here and it's also not here. Like it's kind of cool. This is like one of those. The civilization in of itself too in the episode is interesting because like
They're like children, and he's like God up above. You know, it's very much like that.
They
don't know. They don't. It's almost like they don't know how to discern right from wrong on their own. So they have this archaic system.
they are like children, but like if someone confronts them on something, they don't immediately like fight back. They try to like acknowledge, like, which I wrote down as like a note is like they're self-aware. Like right after when Starfleet meets up with them, they're immediately aware how not developed they are
Yeah.
technologically.
Yeah, that's true.
Like they're like,
And they say that.
they're like, oh, we don't have the ability to like teleport people like you guys do. Like that's like okay, well, they're not violent, but like they're gonna kill Wesley. Like I don't know.
They're going to try to.
Yeah.
And the Enterprise crew, I think Captain Picard ends up taking one of the locals up to the ship to look at the God thing. And when she sees it out of a window, she just falls to her knees and starts praising God.
Yeah.
And then
and panicking. Yeah.
a disembodied voice starts shouting really loud.
Return my child to my planet.
Or, something like that.
I have a note here that says, was it a smart idea for Picard to invite the woman on the ship asking for explanations? Because, like,
No, it was not.
like right off the rip, they're telling Starfleet, like, hey, we're not developed like you guys. Like, maybe, like, introduce us slowly to these concepts. Picard's like,
No, full board.
Picard's like, no, look, it's your God. And then it's like, oh, shit.
She just freaks out. She's traumatized.
Yeah.
And then how does it resolve? So they go back down after she gets traumatized by meeting God. God gets angry, and he starts yelling at the Enterprise. The God-like thing starts approaching the ship, and the ship is rumbling, and it gets bad. And they all end up going back down to like they're all in like a meeting chamber, and they have to figure it out. It's like court. And I don't remember. Tell me how it ends. I'm forgetting now.
So,
God makes some judgment, I think, right?
he makes like a judgment, and he's pretty much like pretty much what happens is they're smart enough to take Wesley back, even though it means violating the Prime Directive. So they just totally take him. It's like, you're gonna do nothing. We know that. You know that. They take him, and then they argue with the God projection.
Yeah, I guess they did just take Wesley.
They just took him, and then
Picard's,
God.
yeah, because I wasn't. As the episode was going on, I was wondering, like, is this going to become some lesson for them? Like, is Picard going to change
I don't think it is.
their court system?
Like they
But that's not what happens. They end up just beaming him out.
They beam him out. They violate
Wait.
the Prime Directive.
God doesn't let them beam out at first.
Oh, right. He doesn't? Okay.
They try to beam out, but the God thing doesn't allow it. Like, it halts communication between them and the Enterprise.
Okay.
And then Picard has to basically give some speech to God. I think he talks to God. And then they end up being
Yeah,
freed.
he talked down God. Like,
Yeah, he did.
yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like, all right, well,
It's pretty fucking crazy.
it is. And then,
It's
like,
a great episode.
and then immediately God disappears, and then that's God abandoning his creations. And now
Yeah, you see it go back away.
now they have to. This is like a recurring theme though with like Next Gen. Like they do this thing where they violate a Prime Directive, and they mess with a component which a civilization is heavily dependent on, like this God projection, for instance. And then when it disappears, they don't really talk about it for the next like 5 minutes in the episode. They're just glad they got their guy back.
Yeah.
But you need to think like after the episode ends, it's like, okay, how are they actually gonna
Yeah, how's this going to pan out?
how are they gonna survive without their God? Like, will a lot of people die by accident? Like, will all these bad things start happening because they believe in this insane, like, crime and justice system?
Correct.
Like, I don't know. And
Some will, some won't. It really is an interesting meeting of worlds because you have this super advanced culture that is the Enterprise. I mean, it's a traveling city. There are 1,000 people on the Enterprise.
yeah, and
So it's a small traveling town, and you have these really evolved people. You have Picard, who's so level-headed and always seems just, even when Picard is doing something stupid. While you're watching the episode, you're like, okay, yeah, whatever, I trust him.
Yeah.
You know, that's how I feel about Picard almost all the time, unless I know something's completely wrong with him, which things happen. He went in Borg, for God's sake, but yeah, I mean, that's how much faith I just have in him as a character.
I guess, yeah. Like, they don't really touch upon it either, like, in a later episode. Like, they just totally violated the Prime Directive, and then nothing happens, like, consequence-wise.
I think Voyager's a lot worse with that sort of thing, though.
That's what I heard. I didn't watch it yet, though.
You haven't watched Voyager?
No, not yet. I still need to.
I don't want to talk too much about Voyager while you haven't seen it, but it's definitely...
I know the captain violates way more than every other one. That's all I know.
It's a great show, and they do a lot of cool stuff, for sure. It gets made fun of, for sure, because they open themselves up. Like, there are certain episodes, they're not bad episodes, but they do leave some plot holes around, kind of like how Next Gen does.
Yeah.
So, but I will say, and I wasn't alive at the time, but I think it's awesome that there were 2 Star Trek shows on television at the same time. Deep Space Nine and Voyager were on.
There's not many other shows like that, right?
I don't think so. Well, maybe now, but I haven't watched any of the new Star Trek shows, but I think there's, like... Wasn't Strange New Worlds and Discovery on at the same time, or Picard overlap with those?
I don't know. Anything touched by Alex Kurtzman, I don't really watch.
I haven't watched any of them.
Yeah.
I heard good things about Picard. But I didn't watch it.
I don't know.
So,
ever since those movies came out where, like, Spock is furiously yelling, punching some dude.
the Chris Pine movies?
Yeah. Like, him yelling and, like, punching Benedict Cumberbatch in the face on a moving truck, yelling emotionally. I was just like, I kind of tuned out. I was like, that's not what he's supposed to do. There are some moments where it works, kind of. Like, I think in the first Star Trek movie, there's a scene where he comes back from a trial or something, and it's like this trial to be fully Vulcan, which means to totally, like, never acknowledge, like, emotions ever and just be purely focused on logic or something. And then when this trial is happening, they're about to put this, like, necklace on him. And then, like, when they're about to do that, he pauses, like, he tells them to stop, and then he just kind of has this, like, thought going through his brain or something, and he immediately leaves, abandons the trial, and just doesn't pass it. And when he's coming back onto the ship, with, like, not Picard, what's the original? Captain Kirk. When he's going back on the ship, with, like, Captain Kirk and all those guys, Bones and all them, he does this thing where, like, he doesn't acknowledge them because he's so devoid of, like, emotion. And that scene is, like, actually, like, pretty sweet because can you imagine going on doing something for, like, months and then just, like, failing? Like, you're probably not in the most great mood to, like, talk to anyone.
Yeah.
You're just wanting to do the next checklist item,
right?
Which is what I call it. And everyone looks, like, nervous when he comes back on the ship, and, like, they don't get it, and it's like it turns into this thing, like, this theme for the movie, like, how do you come back from something where you're supposed to reject all your emotions and, like, come back and hang out with, like, humans and, like, try to talk to them.
Yeah, how do you try to assimilate back into a human society, especially if you were trying to rid yourself of, like, all of emotions and all that. So they touch upon that well. And near the end,
I think, like, Spock is on, like, he's on some kind of bed or something. He just got wounded because I think he went to another dimension or something. But when he came back, he's not exploding with joy or, like, exploding with happiness. It's a really subtle smile, and he's just kind of but mildly glad that he's back and he's with his people. And I think that's, like, an appropriate amount of, like, emotion a Vulcan should have. Like,
I agree.
It's like, okay, you know what? I blew this trial, and then I almost died going into this new dimension or whatever that no one knows yet. but I'm back here with my friends. I'm going to just smile a little bit because I'm still Vulcan and, you know, kind of be happy that I'm with everyone else. And I thought that was like a really nice touch. But with like the new Star Trek movies, it's like...
There is so much that is said with such a small action.
Yeah.
There. With just a tiny little half smile. There's just, you know.
Yeah, I don't need him like screaming full-throatedly, punching someone in the face to express that he's like got some emotion. Like
that's what humans do. That's what Captain Kirk does.
Yeah.
Captain Kirk punches his way and sleeps his way through things. He's like a, you know.
But as
he's that kind
as
of
a human.
Yes. Yeah. He's that character. At least that's how I saw him.
Yeah. When I think of Spock, I think of like a subtle
Spock is your rock.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spock's my rock. You can depend on him.
Yeah.
You build your house on a rock. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But he's also...
at least you're supposed to. You know, he's your science officer. You know, you're he's always scanning. He's watching the horizons for you.
Yeah. He's never testing in production. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's funny.
But
yeah.
But yeah, I also mentioned I had one more note for that that next gen episode, Ito. In Defense of Starfleet,
back to the Pleasure Planet place?
Yeah, I just had like one other thing. In Defense of Starfleet, I think the god could have stopped them, or the people on the planet could have opened with, "Oh, by the way."
Yes.
They didn't do that.
That should have been the very first thing they said before they beamed down.
You can think of that as like a component as to why the god didn't punish Wesley. Like, yeah, you know what? Maybe I could have totally, brought that up, but I didn't. But then he also abandons his creations. Like, they just take the, like, I don't know. I know it's supposed to introduce like doubt in something almighty and all powerful to the Edo people, but like he could have just been like, "Hey, don't do this."
Well, it shows that even gods can be flawed. Yeah. Well, he's not really a god. That's the thing. They think he's a god, but Picard and his crew know that he's not. They see this thing as just another spaceship in orbit that's slightly out of phase. So yeah, they're unusual, probably really advanced by the looks of them, but they know enough to know that that's not God. God is something greater than that.
Well, I mean, a god is all powerful. Mm-hmm. Like you can.
So to the people on the planet,
yeah,
that's God.
Yeah, but it could be to like Starfleet also. I mean,
well, is Q a god? You know, Q is all. I mean, Q considers himself a god, but like, is Q the god of the Star Trek universe?
A little bit,
technically.
Kind of.
The continuum is right. I mean, that they claim to be.
It's an object or thing that could just immediately overthrow all the things that you worked on.
Q is the ultimate. Q is like the queen piece in chess, and that they have that in the series, and that's why the Q episodes are so exciting. And also, John Delancey does that portrayal like perfectly. Like I can't imagine anybody else being Q.
No,
other than him, because he's just snappy and sarcastic. He's just an asshole. But you like him.
I can see Jeffrey Combs being Q.
Oh my God, Jeffrey Combs. Well, Jeffrey Combs has already been. Jeffrey Combs has been so many people. He might be Q already.
Yeah.
Because he's in Enterprise a lot, and he's in DS9 a lot. Yeah. He's in Voyager. You're going to see him a lot in Voyager when you watch that. So another episode we watched was Datalore.
Yes.
And I think this one was my idea because I watched, honestly, when you brought up Justice, I hadn't watched TNG in quite a while. It's been too long. So I basically just started season 1 again. I skipped the pilot because maybe I shouldn't have done that. I feel guilty saying that.
Nah, season 1 has always been rough.
Yeah.
For TNG. It's got the worst episode, like episode 3 in, I think.
But
it's the one where they're on that like.
But I think. Yeah. Let me see what season Datalore is.
It's season 1, episode 12.
Oh, nice. So that's pretty good. Yeah. So yeah, I watched Datalore and I thought that would be another good one.
Yeah, another season
to talk
1.
about.
Yeah.
Because you really start to see Data's story for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
You see memories flooding back
Yeah.
for him. Like, that's a human thing.
It's
You see him go to a familiar place and he gets flooded with all these memories.
I think it's one of the first episodes where they introduce like how much he wants to be like a human. The episode starts off with him trying to learn how to sneeze.
Is that right?
He's like chew, and he's trying to like learn how to sneeze, and it's like, why would you even do that? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's weird.
But that's like one of the first things that he tries to do, and I think that's like really. It seems a little genuine. I like it. So.
It's like I think eventually he learns to sleep.
Yeah.
And his laugh early on is hilarious because it's horribly timed laugh. There's another episode that's not Datalore, but it's an episode where he's talking to Guinan about jokes and he's trying to be funny. He enters the holodeck and he meets a comedian in the holodeck just for humor, and it's actually a pretty hilarious episode. But we're here to talk about Datalore. Yeah, so they go down to this planet and they're trying to figure out what's going on, and there used to be a colony there, but the colony got destroyed and they don't know why.
Yes.
So they go down, and Data finds the place where he was found originally by Starfleet when he was born, his birthplace, so to speak.
The front of the cave, right? I don't think he went in the cave ever, but he was in front of it, like almost like, oh, we don't need him anymore. They just throw a robot out in the front.
And the cave door is blocked. You don't know it's a cave at first.
Yes.
So, and then I think Geordi sees something with his visor, and he says, "Hey, there's a secret door here." And so they go in, and it ends up being Dr. Soong's laboratory. And all of these memories start flooding back to Data about where he came from, and they see these pictures on the walls that kids drew of the colony exploding, and it's actually frightening.
Yeah, kids drew that.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
It wasn't like a grown adult. It was
no,
like a kid.
That's
yeah.
fucking crazy. But Dr. Soong's lab is well preserved, and they end up finding a copy, another version of Data, in pieces.
Well, it's his direct. Yeah, it's his direct copy. Like, it's just Data, but with like his limbs and head, like on its own.
Yeah, all detached.
Yeah, and throughout the episode, I say for the next like 10 minutes after discovering him, they just start sewing him back together. They're like, Data, would you be open to just like if we look inside you a little bit, stuff like that, like, and when they finally set him up,
he has to tell Beverly Crusher about his off switch.
Yeah,
and that's a big deal.
And
for
I
him.
actually forgot that was a thing about Data.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, I forgot. Like, oh yeah, he doesn't sleep, but he has an off switch. Mm-hmm. And like, if he's off and like no one turns it back on, he could just be like that forever.
Well, he says to Dr. Crusher, he says, "Commander, if you had an off switch, would you tell anyone?"
Probably not.
Or
no.
something along those
No,
lines.
he did say that.
Yeah. Something like that.
So like the episode progresses and it gets to this point where Lore, who's Data's brother, comes to life, opens his eyes in front of everyone, has like a facial tick, and like right off the rip, I'm shooting Starfleet for this one, but right when he wakes up, Lore's like, yeah, I'm way more superior. I'm like way better than all these things. I was first, Like 5 minutes later, they're like, hey, look, Lore's taking your seat, Data. Isn't that funny? Like, he's immediately like taking his job. And
then Data finds him and he says, you'll be allowed on the bridge once the captain approves. And he tells him to leave.
Yeah, but like Riker's like looking at like Lore and he's like, wow, he's way more advanced. How cool is it? He's like being an asshole.
Yeah, kind of.
Like,
but then they trick Lore into revealing that he knows more than he's leading on.
Yeah, I think Riker said something about the square root of hypotenuse or something.
Yeah, so they got Lore caught up in conversation. So maybe this is what they were actually trying to do. They got Lore caught up in conversation, and then Riker throws that, what is the square root of whatever? And then Lore, he forgets to keep up the lie that he knows less, and then he just says what the square root is.
Yeah, so that's like one strike.
Yeah.
And then Wesley, I think.
That's when Wesley starts to, like, I don't know about this guy.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are annoyed by Wesley because it's just a kid and like a.
Yeah.
And like
now
a
that
show.
I'm watching through it now, like now that I'm older, shows always hit you differently after you've aged a little bit and had some experiences. And I am less annoyed by Wesley. I'm less annoyed by Dr. Pulaski as well.
Yeah.
Because I remember always being like, oh, I miss Dr. Crusher. I wish, who's this new person? Right? Like, but now I'm not. So maybe I'm just getting better.
Maybe.
But Wesley doesn't bother me.
I remember being slightly bothered by him back then. Now I'm like, you know what?
He's a kid. He's a kid on a starship.
He's like a kid, and like, it's not as bad as like Star Wars Episode 1, where it's the like Anakin Skywalker like screaming yippee, but like,
yeah.
I don't know, like even that sometimes I'm like, what else is a kid supposed to do when he's in a high speed vehicle? Like,
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know, but
Almost dying.
Yeah.
Pod racing. Yeah. Being shot at by sand people.
and getting run over by Zabulba.
Yeah.
Man, I actually kind of like Episode 1 a little bit.
I like Episode 1. My brother just told me that the anniversary for Episode 3 is coming up, and it's going to be in theaters again. And we were talking about how back when we were kids, we went to the theaters for, I think it was his birthday.
Yeah, I think like 20 years ago, I think.
It's the 20-year anniversary. Can you believe it?
Jeez. But
does that make you feel old?
no,
It doesn't make me feel old because I was
s-
so young when it came out. So I don't really. It sounds about right to me.
Whenever I think of like someone being old, I imagine the quality and health of their back. And my back's okay now, but probably when I leave, something's gonna happen. Then I'm gonna be old. But I don't know. But
I do expect back pain in the future.
I think I'm just gonna get dementia.
No, no, you're too smart for that.
Nah.
Your intellect will hold on.
Okay.
Something else will probably. See, that's what happens to smart people is they don't lose their brain, they lose their body. It fucking sucks.
That's weird.
But people
Yeah.
it's different for everybody because like I think Alzheimer's stuff like that can be caused by exposure to certain heavy metals and shit.
You'd think like the guys that like just like they're physically active every day. You'd think like maybe their back will go out faster, but
You would think, but I don't know. I mean, if you're moving around all the time, like I definitely want to.
I guess if you're sitting at a desk for how many hours a day, your back kind of just hunches over.
I've never had a desk job, so
I have one. I like it a lot, but like I do find myself like hunching a little bit when I'm like staring at a spreadsheet for too long.
I mean, I sit in front of my computers like video editing for hours, so that's like the same as a desk job, but I've never had it. But I have to take breaks. I mean, I have the studio down here, and then I work at a table upstairs as well because I like going the movement between the two places. It's like I'll go crazy if I'm just sitting in the same spot for way too long.
Yeah, my thing for sitting at a desk is I'll sit there for like 30 minutes straight doing something. I'll sit at a desk for as long as I humanly can, and then if I get to a point where I'm hitting a wall and I don't know what I'm doing, I leave for 5 minutes, and then I come back, and then I kind of get it, and if I still don't get it fully, I'll do like a 15-minute break, and once I return, I'm usually pretty good, but sometimes there's days where like I just know what to do, and I kind of lose track of time, and like this is my thing about windows. It's like it's always important to have a window near you, because like if you're in a closed room like this,
Yeah.
and you stare at your computer screen, which you totally can do for like 10 hours straight, 12. If you have to go to the bathroom and you look out a window and it's dark, it's like, oh shit, I gotta sleep or something. That's happened to me a lot at work and computer labs. Like, I remember like one day at like college, I was just on a computer for like no joke, like 14 hours straight. Like I went to the bathroom and all that, but I went down like the hallway that didn't have windows. And then when I went down the hallway that did have windows, I looked out and it was like pitch black, and it's like, oh,
It's tomorrow.
Almost, yeah. I think it was like 2 a.m, and I was like, oh, I gotta leave. I don't think I should be here also.
I think it's nice that
But they're also not paying attention to figure out who's in the building. So it's like, you have this thing where it's like, oh, they're not paying attention. I could just, I don't know. So
I think it's nice that Steam, when you hit Shift Tab when you're playing a game, it gives you that nice screen, and it's like a control panel, and that's nice. But it also tells you how long your session is.
that is pretty good, yeah.
So when you pull it up, like there have been times where my session, and I've just been playing Baldur's Gate by myself, not even with you or anybody, just by myself, and the session's just like over 300 minutes long. I can't keep doing this. I need to stop. I need to do. I just, it's too much time. I can't. The game is too good and it's too much time. I'll get sucked in.
The game I've been playing recently was Space Warlord Organ Trading Simulator.
Are you joking?
No, that's real. It's called Space Warlord Organ Trading Simulator.
What?
And you're a guy that's in the
I thought you were kidding. I thought that was an elaborate joke.
No, it's a real game. You're a organ trader, and you sell like hearts, eyes, livers, and like
Ew.
gallbladders and all that stuff, and like alien ligaments too. Like there's space aliens that have like shift wucks, which is like a, it's like a heart but for another creature. And you're pretty much like a black market dealer, and you do these things where you trade organs and finish contracts for certain questionable people. And there's a stock market for actual like organ parts, like a heart.
Organ stock?
Yeah. So
Stocks and bonds for
like,
parts?
Yeah. So like there could be a day where eyeballs are expensive stock wise, or they're cheap, and then you buy low.
It's like the Grand Exchange.
Yeah. You buy low on like eyes and hearts and lungs, and then when they go up, you sell them before market correction happens and it crashes.
What the fuck?
No, it's really fun, but it's a really fast paced game because you're competing with other organ traders that you're in a room with, and you gotta like buy the organs faster than them.
Yeah.
To fulfill contracts and stuff, and then there's like 6 different endings to the game.
Now, do you think this happens in real life?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
I do too.
I think because it's taking place in space, it's easier to look at.
If you're in space and it's aliens too, I think that makes it easier.
It makes it easier, but if it was like a real life like thing, then I'd probably not play the game.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
I'd be reminded too much of the real life implications. But we didn't tell the people what happened in Datalore.
Oh, okay. So what happens is Lore is a direct copy of Data, but he just has more human traits.
He was made first.
Yeah, there's more human traits that he has against Data. He
has intense emotions.
He does.
He has a creepy smile.
Well, there's that one scene where the lighting is like
menacing,
perfectly lit, where he's menacing when he's kicking Data when he's knocked out.
Yeah, that's a hard scene.
It is.
It's his brother.
Well, he's evil. Doesn't matter.
He really is. They really are Cain and Abel. It's crazy.
Like, there's a scene that he says, which just by default makes him more human. He says, "You don't speak in contractions, but I do," or something. It's like we've went to the park instead of we have went to the. We have went to the park. Yeah. I don't know, but yeah. That's a good scene though. The lighting in that is really good. Just puts way more emphasis on like how.
So when he does that, he takes Data's uniform, and he puts some. He uses some device to give Data the same twitch that he has.
Yeah.
Captain Picard asks Wesley to go check in on him. So he goes down to Data's quarters where they're staying, and he opens the door. What's really going on is that Lore has Data's outfit on, and he's pretending, and Data is on the ground, knocked out, and so Lore lies to Wesley, and he says, this is Lore went crazy. I had to shut him off. And then he does his twitch by accident, and then he tells Wesley that he's been trying to copy Lore's twitch.
Yeah.
Which, at that point, Wesley's like, I'm not sure about this guy. And then they return to the bridge, but then that's when something really starts happening because Lore posing as Data starts acting really strangely. He's not doing his normal thing on the bridge, right? So he's reporting. At this point, the crystal entity is upon us.
Yeah.
Because Lore has communicated with it somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And so by the time Wesley and Lore get to the bridge, the crystal entity, which is the thing that destroyed the colony before, is upon them at warp. And so Data gets on the intercom and it says this key word, key phrase so that it follows Lore's commands basically. But he's acting very strangely, and Wesley starts to call him out on it, and he says it in front of everybody, in front of the captain, and he gets scolded by Captain Picard, and nobody believes him, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he's just.
And he's really frustrated. I think he ends up leaving the bridge.
I think his mom tells him to shut up.
But that's when Wesley starts to, get a feeling that something's going wrong.
Yeah, he doubles down after they told him to shut up. He's like,
for sure.
"All right."
For sure.
I'll show you. He says, if I was a grown adult that had the experience, you guys would listen to me, but I don't.
Yes, that's true.
Something like that.
Yes, that's what he says. And then what happens after that? You watched it today. I watched it a week ago.
Yeah. I think they go to some kind of cargo area or something, and they try to do something, and then Lore just pretty much flat out says, like, "Yeah, you're right, I'm not Data." And then he shoots Beverly in the shoulder.
Wait, hold on. I think what you said before, when Wesley's talking to his mom, Wesley convinces her to go to Data's quarters and to turn Data back on because Beverly knows his on switch.
Oh, that's right.
And that's what they do. So after the crystalline entity comes upon them, and after this bridge scene happens, Wesley and Beverly go to Data's quarters, turn Data, Lore, who is it? They find out it's Data. Turn him back on, and then they go to try to track down Lore.
Yeah, and Lore pretty much says, "Yeah, it's me." Shoots Beverly in the shoulder, and her shoulder's actually like on fire for like a little bit.
Yeah, and she runs away.
But
Wesley's still in there.
Yeah, and I think what happens is they just start a fight, and then I think Data punches him, and he falls into like a transporter, and Lore's about to shoot, but he gets transported into like some other area. I think on the crystal itself.
They shoot him out into space.
Yeah, they shoot him out into space, and then when he shoots, the beam actually stops midway.
It is pretty cool.
And then he's out of there. So it's a pretty cool episode. It's the first introduction to Lore. I think he's in another episode later where he has a beard.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he does come back. I don't remember how he comes back. But the evil brother thing, it's a good trope. It's an old one, but it's a good one.
That is an interesting thing where I think he brought up I tried to talk to people in civilization, but because I was so human-like that like I think maybe the theme of the episode is like if you're that smart and a human, you just kind of conclude that like humans aren't really like useful, so you just try to do anything to like get more out of something.
Narcissist.
Kind of, yeah. And then like
too self-absorbed. Completely and totally selfish.
A human shouldn't be that smart because if they do, then they just don't see a point in helping other humans.
And he has the intellect of Data, but he's deranged. He doesn't have.
He's deranged because he's more human. Yeah.
He doesn't have morals.
Yeah, like
none.
It's weird how he's built like a human, but he simultaneously has no morals because he just sees people as like objects and just uses them as he pleases. Like
even the crystalline entity that he became friends with.
Yeah.
He was probably just trying to use that to advance somehow.
Yeah. And he even tells like Data, like, you know, why do you even talk to these people? And they're not even that cool. Mm-hmm. He doesn't say they're not cool, but like,
well, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but like,
that's what he's trying to say.
Yeah. And like, I think So Data's the second one that was made, and they made him not human-like. They gave him like a half human-ish kind of like consciousness, kind of, I guess. Like, oh well, let me try to get into. He's a robot that's trying to be human, but by trying to be human, he's more human than Lore.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, he's more genuine, I would say.
Yeah.
Than Lore.
Like if you don't right off the rip know how to be a human, and you're trying, that's way more genuine than like a guy that's like self-aware that he is a human, but like also has the ability to do all these things, and he's just totally violating all this stuff. So
yeah, Lore thinks he's a superhero, whereas Data knows his strength, his intellect he is superior in many ways, but he doesn't.
He's constantly a visitor. Does that make sense?
What do you mean?
He's always new.
Oh, yes.
To something.
Yes.
Like he's always a
Humble.
visitor. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like he's really open-minded because of that, and
I love the Data episodes. I mean, it's hard to pick your favorite character of that show, but Data is just so unique, iconic.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not relatable, but he is in some way. Like when you do relate, I don't know. He's not relatable.
I think he's relatable to.
In some ways, he is, but he's also funny in a lot. Like Data's made me laugh at times where it wasn't supposed to be a funny part of the episode, but just the way he responds and reacts to things is funny sometimes. He has this innocence about him.
I think people like Data because like people that usually watch like Star Trek are like kind of like nerdy, I guess, right? Like mildly reclusive sometimes to some people.
Introverted.
Yeah.
Introverted bias, I would say.
Yeah, so like I think Data introduces things in the show to like a reclusive or introverted viewer that like that they're not used to. Like
because he's learning to socialize with humans for the first time.
Yeah, the events that make him interesting are socially based. So like there's people out there that probably watch Star Trek and never had that social event happen to them. So they in some way kind of relate to Data. And I think that's like a really, really weird way to look at it. Like Data as like trying to learn how to be human while a human watches Star Trek, but they never did the social event thing.
Right.
I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I think that's, I agree.
Man, but that was a really good episode. I like Datalore.
I watched another one where Commander Riker gets jabbed by this vine on an alien world and it infects him. They did this thing where they stimulated his brain, and they were stimulating his brain in different places to cause him to have different emotions, which would trigger different memories. So you would go into his brain, and it was like a playback of things that happened earlier in the series. So some of it was like love, and then some of it was like fighting, and they were using different emotions to try to counteract this disease that he had. It was a Dr. Plasky episode.
I don't know. I actually don't remember that one at all.
It's definitely not iconic, but it was interesting.
Welcome to the Lee Street broadcast. I'm here with Cameron.
Hello. Whoops. Hey guys, what's up? My name's Cameron.
Sorry, the dogs are giving me trouble. Cameron, what's your Star Trek experience?
Well, I saw Star Trek Next Generation, all of it, and I saw all of Deep Space Nine. I gotta look at Voyager. That's the next one, and then I'm actually going into the classic right after that. I just haven't had the time recently.
So we're about to watch end of season 3, beginning of season 4, The Best of Both Worlds, which is the Picard Borg episode. And we were going to pick a random one, and then I saw this, and we were both into it, so figured,
The first episode was... Oh, right. The first episode was about... It was a season 2 episode, and it was finding Deanna Troy's mom's soulmate. And we just kind of looked at each other, and we kind of signaled immediately through pure eye contact, like, all right, we need a new plan. So,
Yeah, I think this is going to be a lot better. All right. Well, I got this mic here, so in case we end up pausing it, we can talk about it. We don't have to. I don't want to, live. I don't want to broadcast it throughout the entire thing, but it's here if we want it. But we're getting started. So we're about a half hour in to the first part of the episode, and I heard Cameron make a sound. We're in the turbo lift. Commander, it was a small sound, but I heard you. You were like, you're like,
you're in my way.
Yeah, she really just. I'm gonna hand the mic over in a second. But
Yeah, so like
we're in the turbo lift. Commander Shelby has been with us for basically the whole episode, causing trouble, just being helping everybody else out, but being a thorn in Riker's side. Here's Cameron.
like so
Shelby
she goes into this elevator. No, she goes behind Riker's back to annoy like the higher up. And he considers it, which is fine, but like they go to the lift right afterwards to like discuss what just happened, and she's just straight up like, "You're in my way." It's like I understand like young ambitious, like I want to take initiative guys, but like I don't think I've ever heard anyone like that just be like, "You're in my way," like that.
She's very transparent that she wants to get ahead to the point where it's basically her whole personality.
What's that? What was it? Was this a Frank Herbert quote? But like, those that look for leadership positions are always never fit for them.
That sounds like something he would write.
That's why like Paul was like a good leader. I think I might be wrong. I probably heard that from something else.
Well, it's a old idea, right, that greatness responsibility is thrust upon people who don't necessarily want it.
Yeah, like
The greatest responsibility is thrust into people who don't necessarily want it, who weren't looking for that responsibility. They were trying to do something else, and in doing that other thing that they felt was right, they were given this responsibility. And that's basically what happened with Paul. He didn't. I mean, he could see the future in a way, but he didn't really want. He didn't necessarily want everything that he got.
yeah, like adding to what you were saying about like doing something else in their own way, them doing it in their own way usually is like done really well, and then that somehow always indirectly helps like any kind of larger process, I guess, whether it's like a civilization or something. I don't know, but I always wanted to go back to like medieval like stories and stuff like that, where the king is never happy. Mm-hmm. There's never a happy king, and like whenever you look at like kings like portrayed in paintings, for instance, they always like, look either really bored or like really pissed off. Like, dude, I was just trying to. I wanted to be a writer. Like, I don't know. Like, there's one of them that's like that, but like they probably did something so important that was like, okay, you have to do this, and it's like, all right, fine. So
That's no way to lead a ship. It's really not.
yeah,
You don't want your leader. You don't want someone like Shelby commanding a ship,
right.
because she's only in it for herself. She's in it for other people as far as it gets her forward, but at least right now in her career, at least how she's portrayed in this episode. You wouldn't want her as the captain of the ship, because you would be thinking that she might be more interested in advancing her own position rather than the sake of the crew. And I know I'm making broad judgments here based on 27 minutes of content, but I've also watched this episode a few times, so I've had the time to think about it. I don't like Shelby.
I think like she's written well. I just think that elevator scene is really dumb, and I think someone.
Yeah.
I don't know if they got tired when they were writing, They just said, screw it. But, like, I think that is someone that, like, up until that elevator part, like, she did... I like that forwardness scene where she was talking about, like, I heard your job's up. Mm-hmm. I think that's, like, a thing... I think young kids do that, usually. Like, I work for a corporation, right? So it's like... I've seen, like, younger guys, like, sometimes, like, contractors or something like that are trying to join, that are like, is your spot open? Like, oh, shit, like, I don't know. Like, it's like a straightforwardness that I do see in, like, I guess, like, younger people.
I've never been in that situation.
I'm saying that as, like, a 31-year-old, too. But I've seen... It's a little bit endearing sometimes. Like, is your spot open? Like, they're so hyped to, like... You kind of miss the point where they're like, oh, they're just trying to... I don't think it's them, like, wanting to take your job. It's just, like, them wanting to, like, have your spot so bad. And it's like, I don't know. But that, like, I see that straightforwardness sometimes in younger people. So I kind of get that scene, and I kind of liked it. I did like the scene where she kind of went around Riker's back a second time. The first time being when she went an hour early on the planet to study it.
Yeah.
She's written well. Like, everything is good. It's just, I think this elevator scene is, like, really dumb.
Yeah, it's a speed bump in an otherwise smooth road.
Yeah. But that's really all I have to say so far about this episode. I think it's, like, really... I like the matte painting. When they go into the planet.
Yeah.
When they transfer the first time, there's like a few like rocks or boulders in the way in the front camera, but in the background there's actually like a really nice matte painting, and I thought that was kind of nice.
I wonder if that's on someone's wall somewhere right now.
Probably. Yeah.
Someone's house and some Star Trek collector's house.
Can imagine.
All right, back to the show.
Or crossbase.
Elevator scene is over, and Riker's looking off into space.
He's looking into nothing.
Literally, he's just looking into the wall. Man, doesn't the Enterprise look good?
So we just got done watching The Best of Both Worlds, Part 1 and 2. Is that what it was called?
The Best of Both Worlds, Part 1 and 2. Yeah,
that's right.
I made like a self warble. It was really stupid. Not me having a speech impediment.
It's staying in there. I liked it.
Oh, cool.
I'm not editing it out.
This is a good setup too. I can hear you.
Thank you.
Nice.
Yeah, so I took the one leaf out of the table so that I could put the mic stand in the center. In order to, this way you can look at the table while you're looking into the microphone.
Yeah,
makes sense.
I got my own little computer here too.
Nice, very nice.
In case I need to remember something.
So I like the episode. It's interesting. Yeah. So, no, it's not you. It's the dog hitting the mic stand.
No, my stupid my stupid laptop top. Yeah, that sounded normal. It bumped into the pop filter.
Ah, gotcha. Here, do you need a mouse pad?
Yeah, I'll take one. Thank you.
So, Cameron, you're here. Thanks for coming over.
Yeah,
it was a good episode. It was good. It was a good couple episodes. It's interesting. I just watched the pilot of DS9, which is the other side of Wolf 359. It's very interesting. Now I'm seeing it from Picard's perspective.
Okay.
So just a few days apart. So I've never done that before. I think that's pretty interesting.
This is my second time watching this episode series. It was pretty good. Oh, I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm sorry.
No. I'm thinking about that one of the last scenes with Picard that we just saw at the end of the episode, where Shelby and Riker leave, and they're fine. They're all kind of back to smiles and everything. But Picard looks, he's about to take a sip of his tea, and then he puts the tea down and he kind of looks off into space. He's got that 1,000-yard stare. Then he just looks out the window. And you can just see the Borg memories coming back to him and all that destruction that he was a part of. Yeah, you could just see it in his eyes.
Yeah, he clearly has like post-traumatic stress disorder. From that event.
He said he remembered all of it.
Yeah, like even when he was getting the implants installed, you could see a tear going down his eye.
Yeah, that's.
I think that's probably the most. No, I like that scene the most. The most iconic scene is probably the one where his head turns and it's the laser beam going into the camera.
Yeah. The creepiest thing is when he calls Riker number one. You know, he's still saying number one, but he's saying it in this creepy.
Number one.
Really creepy.
Yeah.
Or when he's just fumbling around.
He just says it like British, though.
Where he's just walking around the sick bay.
Yeah.
He's just roaming around, talking to Worf about how the Klingon culture will be assimilated. And Worf gets all defensive and puffs up.
That scene's really funny. So when you become a Borg, you just get a British voice. Because when he said number one, usually he's like number one, and when he's a Borg, he's like number one, like way more different. But I really like that scene because like. The Borg's talking shit. He's like, your Klingon race is useless and no one is gonna care for you or something. And then like no one says anything. I think it even pans to the crew and they're just standing there.
Yeah.
And then the moment they make fun of Data, Crusher's just like, all right, what?
It's with the hypo spray.
Yeah, it's just like, wow, okay. Like, what about Worf?
So at the beginning of the episode, we meet Commander Shelby, who makes it very clear that she's out for Riker's job. And it's kind of crazy how much things change by the end of it.
Yeah.
Because at first, I mean, it's always serious because it's the Borg. But at first it doesn't seem so bad, but then once you get to the part where the Borg get to the Wolf system, it really starts to get serious. Well, actually, no, that's not true. Once Picard is gone, it really starts to get serious.
Yeah.
Once Picard is gone, Shelby drops the whole trying to get ahead thing.
Yeah, because that's like the first instance in her entire career where it's like, oh shit, wait, no, hold on. Like, someone might actually, like, for real, like, die.
Yeah. Yeah, it does seem that way. And it was weird how the Admiral, I forget the Admiral's name, but how he didn't really understand that Picard was still alive, or whether he understood it or not. But he considered Picard a casualty of war.
Yeah.
Even though he was still technically alive.
He just gave up on that, like, real quick.
Well, the Admiral didn't make it. It's a crazy point for Starfleet.
Hey, oh, God damn it. Sorry.
It's okay.
What was it? It'd be funny. So the Admiral says, hypothetically, if the Borg hacked into the communications of all of Starfleet's channels or something, the Borg heard the Admiral say, he's just a casualty of war. Picard probably heard that, was like, what? And then started floating. The cube started, not floating, flying towards his ship and just shot it.
Death sentence
just like shot it first. He's like, talking shit? What? Not on my street. And then rolled up on him. There's like a point in Star Trek where they try to humanize with the Borg. Like they try to see past through the fact that they try to destroy humanity.
Well, there's an attempt at that in Voyager. But I don't really want to say anymore because I don't want to spoil those episodes for you.
Okay, yeah, I still need to see them all.
Yeah. So in Voyager, they do a lot with the Borg because the Borg live in the Delta Quadrant primarily, which is where Voyager ends up being stuck. So they end up seeing a lot of the Borg, unfortunately.
Interesting.
But Next Gen, I guess this is really our first in-depth glimpse at the Borg.
It's a really good intro, too. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure it's the best episode series in the entire series.
You think so?
Yeah.
Those two?
I think those. Yeah, I think like when people talk about like best episodes, it's usually those two. Yeah.
Really?
I was watching like a Red Letter Media video, and they like ranked that as their first one.
Huh.
So
I mean, I think they're really good, but I don't think they're the best. I don't think they're my absolute favorite. They're not exactly deep. They are not that they're not deep, but because there are some serious issues and a lot of people die. But there are. I feel like there are more emotionally impacting episodes of TNG.
yeah,
That one was more action. That was like a war episode.
yeah. I think one of my favorite episodes. I think my favorite episode is probably the one where they make Q into a human.
Yeah,
And he's trying to
Deja Q.
adapt to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just watching that last night.
Yeah.
And it's a hard time. Cam, did you bring the ad read for today? I emailed it to you this morning.
You did?
Yeah.
Email. Fuck.
I'm just kidding. You don't have to check your email.
Okay. Don't say that. I would believe it. I will believe it.
I know you took me so seriously.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
you're
know.
so nice. You're such a nice person.
Really stupid.
No, there won't be any ads for this one because I don't have anything written.
Fucking tricked me there.
Unfortunately. So I went to Edge Fitness today, and I don't have anything to complain about.
Oh, did you see any tripods?
No, I did not. I did not see any tripods.
Jeez, did you see you guys scream, walk this way? And
I
then-
saw a really huge guy. You know when a guy does too many steroids, and you know when his muscles get real. And I'm not a big guy, so I can't really talk that much. I'm like kind of paper in the wind here, but there are some guys who take it too far, and it looks like they're just like bubbly.
Yeah,
They just look really bubbly. Like there's muscles in places where you've never seen them before.
that's I forgot what it's called. Trend. No, Trend's the one where it like makes you like ripped looking. There's one that makes you look bubbly. I forgot what it was called though.
Are these drugs? Are they steroid drugs?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, really? So there's certain drugs, there are certain steroid drugs that will give you certain effects like that.
Yeah, I think like steroids or something is like, it's not like a single steroid. It's like,
Yeah, I've heard of like D-ball and other
I think
things,
that I think that one you just said is the one where it makes you bubbly, D-ball or something.
it's something with numbers. I don't know. I've never done. I'm not a
Yeah,
gym rat. I don't know.
I
But I've
never-
heard people talk about. They throw out these different named things.
Yeah, I like never like really got near that stuff. I know it's not like an all-in-one thing though. There's like different categories for like different things or something. I think Trent is the one right now that's like really popular with like high school students for some reason.
You got to shoot yourself up, right? It's a needle, right? Still, is that still how it is? You got to put a needle in your butt.
It's still I think that stuff is still like served in the vial. So I think it is like still a needle.
Oh my god,
What's the
fucking gross, dude.
it's called an amper or something. What's it when it's like a vial but you put the chemical liquid in it and then you
Port, get off the mic.
I was wondering what that was.
That's it. Hey, come on. Up. Go.
Yeah, I don't think there's like a
This is a precarious situation. Continue. Don't mind me.
I don't think there's like a chewable. It's either like a needle or like some kind of pill or something.
Huh.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's not like I don't know. But yeah.
Man, you gotta really want it.
Yeah.
You gotta really want to get buff beyond belief. Muscles in new places. Muscles in your neck, muscles where you don't need them.
Yeah, I'm not really feeling that right now.
You have to be afraid when you open doors that you might not break the hinges.
I guess. Yeah.
I don't want to be that strong.
Yeah. I don't either. Like
I like to go. I have a really. So I went with my friend Ant, and I realized that I have a really slow pace because he goes a lot harder than me, and I'm not like slowing him down or anything. It's not like that. It's just funny to be there with someone who's going at a completely different pace than you.
I did running with my one friend Matt. I think you met him at my party once. Mm-hmm. We used to play Xbox together. DJ Matty Ice.
Yeah. I remember DJ Matty Ice.
I remember for like a brief period, we were doing running in the morning and shadow boxing. And that was just like in the straight up street, and that was awesome. But like I think just like we lost scheduling or something. But that was cool. We were doing that for like 2 weeks.
It's nice to have someone to do it with.
Yeah, I'm not good at like fighting like at all. Like it was like day one, like all right, put your fists up, and I'm like I don't know how to.
Yeah, I wouldn't know how to do any of that.
It was like that and like grab moves, and it's like I suck at those, and it's like I don't know. So.
Yeah, I was saying more of like it's nice to have someone to motivate you in general.
Yeah,
to work out.
It worked. I was knocked out when I drove home that day, which was like 5 a.m.
Going with my brother, I started going because of him. I started going to Edge because he was going and he kept asking me to go, so I started going with him. Now he's going, but I stayed for the sauna because the sauna is fantastic. But he'll torture you. I mean, he's a great trainer. I mean, he's never done training professionally, but he could do it tomorrow because he'll push you past just to fuck with you, just to watch you squeal a little bit. He'll push you past because he knows you can do it.
Yeah,
he's not mean about it. You know, I love him for it.
The last serious training I did was for I went to Orange Theory, and that Orange Theory Fitness is like a thing where you it's like a 1 hour class, and you do running and like lifting for like 30 minutes each. Mm-hmm. So you have people on the tread for 30, and then you have lifting for 30, like right after.
Okay.
That was cool. Oh man, I hope I didn't bring this up in the last episode. No, I didn't. So there was this thing where like they have a coach, and you know they're cool. Over time, like the coaches just kind of got like I wasn't into him that much. But then there was like one coach that put on like I remember her mix being so like they play like a Spotify playlist or whatever. Like while you're like exercising, and I remember she played like ambient music, not like Brian, you know, but like ambient music. In like imagine like a PS2 loading screen.
Yeah, that's like, the worst kind of thing for
but like not you know what, PS2 loading screens, some of those tracks are okay. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, but it's still not good. You want a beat. That's the opposite of a song with a beat. You want something like do when you're working and moving out.
Okay, imagine
you want like dance music. You want to feel the bass.
Yeah, like imagine the you know, put something like I don't know, DMX on, right? And they like try to run to that, and
yeah, like Boris Brejcha.
Yeah.
Or Led Zeppelin. Something to get you going.
Who's Boris?
Boris Brejcha.
Yeah.
He's a German EDM guy. My dad listens to him, and my boss also listens to him.
Oh, okay. Boris
Brejcha.
Wait, I gotta finish the story.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was angling towards my computer like this. I'm like, Boris. It's like, wait, no, you gotta. So imagine like a Pantene commercial, like music backtrack, and that's what it like sounded like, and I was like, oh, this sucks. And then for the last like she's like, all right guys, just breathe, and I'm like
a proactive acne commercial music. Yeah,
I'm like mouth open sprinting, like not looking good, and like just like I'm dying, and like it was really bad. Yeah, she was, I don't know, but that was the same gym I went to where the girl was recording herself like on the treadmill.
Tripod.
No tripod. No tripods allowed. But
okay.
In Orange Theory. But so this girl snuck her phone in, right, and she started recording herself on TikTok, and she's pretty good looking, right? She's like a 9 out of 10. You know, pretty stunning. Mm-hmm. She wore like makeup to exercise, like a lot of it though.
Makeup at the gym.
Yeah, I was like, is that gonna like spread everywhere?
It is pretty stupid, but if you're that hot, I understand.
I guess I don't know, but like
I feel like people that hot feel like they have a responsibility.
there is like a, I don't know if it's like a responsibility. It's like a, it's
I
like
can't go out without this.
like a self-induced like fear maybe, like I don't know, but like the she's recording herself and she's hitting an angle, and of course I'm next to her, and like I was kind of chubby at this point. I gained some weight from like Christmas, and I'm sprinting and I look really stupid looking, and I didn't shave either, and I had like a like a 9 o'clock shadow.
Oh wait, so you were in the picture?
Yeah, I'm in her like TikTok video that she's recording with like a selfie, and like I didn't want to see the view count, but she was really good looking, so I probably got like 1 million views.
Oh yeah,
And she probably captioned the stupid thing that said like, running next to a fat idiot at Orange Theory.
LOL at the dude behind me.
Yeah, and it's like, oh cool. And like
You're probably right.
you probably know already, I'm like already the most camera awkward human in existence. Like every photo and like video of me is me looking like scared and like wanting to fight also, which is a weird combo. Like, I don't know.
Well, luckily, Lee Street is an audio-only broadcast.
Thank God. Oh man, dude. Way easier to mix and edit.
Well, lucky for you, TikTok is such a disposable platform that even if 100,000 people saw you, they forgot about you in the next 5 minutes. Because they went on to the next video.
Yeah, I didn't know the thing was like I didn't know it was like full screen.
What,
Like
TikTok?
the videos, yeah, they're full screen.
You know, I'm not a very prideful person, but I've never downloaded the app.
Yeah, me neither.
Never used it.
I only recognize the app of just people speeding up videos sounding like
And I'm proud of that.
yeah. It's only like videos of people like putting their stupid phone on like a dresser and like recording themselves in their bedroom doing
Yeah.
like a bit. Like
It's also not our generation either. It's it's the younger generation before. It's like my sister got into TikTok. So if my sister's into it, that means that I'm not going to be. This is not my demographic, right? I don't even have any social media anymore. I hardly like Instagram anymore, and then I stopped using it. So TikTok's not something that was ever made for people like you or I don't think.
no, I'm taking a break from X or Twitter.
Yeah.
I think you deleted yours, right?
Yeah, I deleted everything.
Yeah, it's
except YouTube, but YouTube isn't social media. But that's instead of having an X and an Instagram, I'm just gonna put all my effort into
Just like one thing.
yeah YouTube.
Like,
So that's why we're here now, podcasting.
Right.
Trying again. This is not the first time we've tried to do podcast.
yeah.
So, and
X turned into like I went on the following thing because I used to follow artists on X, and then whenever I started to open up the app, it would default open to For You,
yeah,
and For You is a thing where
it's just an algorithm. It's like the YouTube algorithm. It
Yeah,
just comes up with stuff based on. So your subscriptions are the dogs are playing.
Yeah.
They did this last time at like the same exact time. But yeah, it's like their algorithm of your subscriptions or follows mixed with stuff they think you'll like based on what? I don't know what that's based on.
I don't think it's even like off of what you watch. I think it just shows whatever's like the most popular. I think.
Twitter ads have never been good for me.
Yeah.
My Instagram ads, they're pretty good. They'll give me like music stuff or whatever. It's as far as scanning what I'm Googling and figuring out what I like. Instagram very fast with that. X not really. X would, and again it's been a few months since I stopped using it, but it would advertise things to me that had nothing to do with me.
It would do like it was I remember specifically it was a bunch of Temu ads.
I got a bunch of Temu ads, yeah.
And there was this thing that happened where every single video that was in the For You section, I would watch it, and it had a stake bet like logo on the bottom right of it or something.
Uh-huh.
And that was like every single video. And it was just like, I don't know.
That's weird.
It was really confusing. It was weird because it was baked into the video.
Huh.
It wasn't like a trim or like some kind of UI thing on the side. It was like baked into the video. Yeah, it was weird. I don't know. Like, it just turned into like videos of people fighting, like half naked people, and then I don't know, some like
it's weird because it's a great place to get news. It's a great place to follow people if there's a certain person that you like that ends up putting out a lot of their content on Twitter.
Yeah,
it's hard not to have one.
I'm turning old because I'm going to the For You page and I'm like, oh, I wonder what movies are coming out, and it's like none of that, like at all, and it's totally the opposite. Man, I like Instagram though. That's the one thing I use to just connect with like my family. Mm-hmm. So
yeah.
Hello, Daisy.
Dogs are playing. The sound system in I love how the gym Edge Fitness has a movie theater in it.
It does, yeah. Oh man,
so in case
I freaking love that.
In case you're not from the area or you're not from an area that has, but I mean, this could be a weird New Jersey thing where we have a gym with a movie theater in it. I don't know. Is this area thing? I feel like the West Coast would have weird places like that too. Probably. At least in Los Angeles, there has to be a gym like that.
It has to be like
Seattle. They have to have something like that.
Well, it's like real estate. Like, how much gym space do you have to like install that? You know?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Man, I love that movie theater.
It is awesome.
I remember they put on Alien. That was awesome during like Halloween, and then they put on Top Gun. I said that funny. Top Gun. And it's like the scene where like they're fighting like the Russians and I'm sprinting and it's for real.
Sometimes the movies are awesome.
Yeah.
Like Iron Man 3 was on today and I was getting into it. At first I was like, this is fucking cheesy. And then of course 20 minutes later I'm super into it. Ant's done working out. He's like, you ready to go? And I'm still watching the movie. So, but then Titanic was on before.
Oh, that's not a running.
And I no,
unless the ship is sinking.
No, I was not in there long. I got in, and it's weird that the sound system is cranked way too high. So I got into the theater, got on a treadmill, started walking, and it was a rescue scene. So someone was blowing into a whistle, and the whistle was so loud it actually hurt my ears, and I had to walk right out.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, nope, I give up on this.
Yeah.
But hey, sometimes they have some bangers. They had Star Wars last week. They had Terminator 2 on Election Day, which is pretty awesome.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Yeah.
If it's a good movie that I get into, I'll stay in there longer. I definitely will.
I did go to Edge around here, like years ago. I moved out and I tried to do Edge again, and it's just like the one in Cherry Hill is like super. It's always packed, and you have to wait for stuff, and I don't feel like waiting. Mm-hmm. So I left, and I was like, I'm going to think of an alternative way to exercise, and then I did it. So yeah.
Or you can always come down here.
I could, but it's like far away.
Yeah.
Man, I don't think I'm comfortable with like 45 minutes every.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Like 3 days.
Well, whenever you're in the area.
I guess, yeah.
Sometimes you'll find a talkative guy. Like, I like to talk in the sauna. I think it's nice. I don't care. It doesn't have to be anything serious. But it's just nice to... Because you don't talk to anybody when you're working out. So, and if you're at the gym by yourself, it's nice to have a conversation with someone. I don't mind talking. But a lot of the times you go in there and no one wants to talk. It's full guys and no one wants to talk.
Yeah, that's probably me. Like, I usually don't talk like ever.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. It's nice. I not every time, but today it was nice. It makes the time go by quicker. I think. Like if you're getting uncomfortable because of the heat.
Yeah.
I feel like having a conversation is a nice way to relieve that stress. At least it is for me.
Man, I wish I had that. I usually just keep to myself usually and just keep going.
If I'm really tired, I'll sit in there and I'll close my eyes and I'll just zone out. Or I'll usually do that like the first minute. Like when I first sit down, I'm getting used to the heat.
Yeah.
I'll close my eyes and relax and start to acclimate. But yeah, I don't know. I'm more of an extrovert now than I used to be. I don't mind the small talk.
I thought I was going to grow out of being an introvert from like high school and then be an extrovert later on. It didn't really end up happening. I kind of just stayed an introvert. I talk more, but like I usually like to just keep to myself and listen to stuff.
It depends on where I'm at. Like I haven't had a lot of contact lately because I've just been here with the dogs. So I've you've come by, my brother's come by, I've had friends come by and everything, but I'm dog sitting. I'm kind of living as a shut-in right now. So for me to have that contact is nice because I'm not used to having it. So I think there's that mixed in. If I was working all day, if I was working with the public all day, and then I went to the gym after work, I probably wouldn't want to talk to anyone.
Okay.
I would probably just be
It's like a meter.
shot.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, I think my meter is just like yours is just like how like when you're fighting a boss in a video game, the gauge is on the bottom and it's like huge. That's you. I'm like first boss you like try to go up against and it's like small. But what's that?
Well, it just depends. I don't know. I'm not, if I was, like I said, if I was working all the time with people, if I was bartending and I had to talk, I could never do that job. I like talking to people. I do. I like meeting new people. It's great. I like working at a winery, and I can do the tasting room if I have to. But normally, I like to do the dirty work.
Right.
Winery's fine because winery's super relaxed. Everyone there doesn't give a shit about anything because they're at a winery. It's great. Usually older folks, usually old folks with money who don't care. But like bartending at a busy bar, imagine working at Rax in Williamstown on a Friday night.
That'd be awful. Yeah, I
don't even want to go there on a slow day. Actually, the backyard bar is actually pretty nice. I will say that, so I'm not trashing them.
Okay.
But still, like, I could never do that job. Never talk to all those people, have all those tabs going at the same time, memorizing all those drinks.
I wasn't a bartender. I served beer behind a stand at the last remaining years of the River Sharks. When I was like...
Oh, that's cool. That's a cool job.
When I was like 20. Like 19 or 20, I think. And
that's a great time for that kind of job.
That job was awesome. Actually, no, I think I was like 21. But that job was like probably my favorite job of all time because like it was me and all my friends, like Keenan, Brandon, and like Drew, and our other friend, Fitz. We all just like literally worked in the same stadium because we knew one guy and we just kind of tacked on when we just needed a job. And it was awesome because like I just hung out with everyone I knew already on site, and I was just serving beer to people.
That's so cool.
When I was like 21, that was awesome, man. Like I think I could do bartending if I'm like 18 to like 28, like a high speed one, like the ones in the clubs where there's no talking and it's just pure like, okay, who's next? But like the slower ones, like I don't think I could ever see myself doing that.
I would have to work. My favorite type of bar is a shitty dive bar. There's one. My favorite bar is in Glassboro, right? It used to be right down the street from my house. We went there.
Yes, I went to.
I love that place. And that's the type of bar that I could actually work at because the bartender there will also drink with you. I would have to work in a bar like that. I would not be able to do it sober.
Oh man, there was a guy there once. He was bragging about like driving home drunk, like he bragged about how good he was at driving home drunk all the time, like every day. Oh my God. And he talked about like all the DUIs he got, like as if he had like a badge of honor. And I was just like, who's this fucking space alien? Like, I don't know.
Some prideful drunk.
Yeah. But
I love that place.
he's like, this is where I got my first DUI. And he said that like he won a trophy. I was like,
There should be a plaque on the wall.
yeah, like it's just his like citation.
The first time I walked into that place, I felt like I was walking into someone's living room.
It does feel like a living room, but it just has hard flooring.
And
Yeah.
and everyone in there knows each other. So the first time I went was on like a Monday or Tuesday night, so it wasn't even a popular time. And I went by myself. And so everyone looked at me. It was like a cowboy scene, you know, when the new guy comes into the saloon and everyone turns and looks at the new guy.
Yeah. You get that. You get that before the door because there's plastic chairs just out on the front and there's people sitting in them.
The smoking section, yeah.
So there's like the smoking section. So there's like 2 layers of security that you got to go through. So it's like it's like legit.
Neither are actually secure, I'll say. But
in your head you see it as like oh shit, I'm going through like.
So this night, I wasn't even. So my first time there, I wasn't even aware of that side door. I went through the front door because the place is also a liquor store up front and a bar in the back, of course. So I go through the liquor store because I'd been there before, and I walk in that way. So they see this new guy coming in. He doesn't even walk the right way into the bar. And, you know, but they were nice to me, you know, and I ended up kind of befriending a couple of the regulars there. And there's a guy, Larry. Larry's pretty nice. He remembers my name. He remembers me. He's bought me a couple beers.
I think the second time I went in there, it was with our one friend. It was Mitch, and he played. He played an August Burns Red song. Yeah. And I got nervous for a second because I looked around, and then you just see all these old people like looking at us, and I'm like, oh, they know like right off the rip.
He played the worst music possible.
Yeah,
it was pretty funny.
I don't mind ABR, but
he picked the worst songs. He went to the jukebox and he paid for 5 or 6 songs, and he just picked the most obnoxious things he could come up with. Last
2 weeks ago, I was in North Jersey with my family, and we were in this bar. Luckily, like there was no one else in there. It was just like us. But the mix I put on the Touch Tunes thing, which is such a great device, but also like a nightmare for some people. I threw like $20 into that thing, and the first thing I was like, move it. And I was like, move my cousin out of the way. And it's like, we're doing this. And I put like Twin Peaks theme. I put an MF Doom song on.
Oh my God.
I put on, all these like really just out of place like songs. Like, it was so dumb.
I had Mitch put on Interstellar Overdrive by Pink Floyd. Which is a great song. It's a solid riff in the beginning and it's a solid riff at the end, but the whole middle part of the song is just complete nonsense. There's just no structure to it in the beginning. It's just noise. Yeah. So kind of like what you're hearing right now, the dog chewing on a dog toy. It's just fucking noise. Easy. Hey, baby. You're part of the show. They can hear you. You're on the internet. Now she stopped. She's just nervous because there's people listening.
It's like putting a Death Grip song on, but like you just keep putting the same one on for like 20 tracks.
Like that John Mulaney joke.
Yeah. Oh, I remember that. But I love that device. Although it does piss people off sometimes.
I wouldn't mind an old school jukebox with the records inside it. That'd be nice. Put some quarters in there and it kind of flips around the 45-40 and it throws it on there. I wouldn't mind a place like that. An old diner.
They had one at the
that'd be cool.
The Brunswick Zone like a while back.
Really?
Yeah, and
It's fine.
I thought something broke.
No. It's just him.
I used to go to that thing and play like a smash. What's that one song from Smashing Pumpkins? The melancholy one. Shakedown 1979.
You're talking to the wrong guy. I'm not a Smashing Pumpkins fan.
Me neither. I just kind of.
Not enough to know their song names.
That was like the only album I listened to when I was like a wee lad. But yeah. Hey, Port. But I do like jukeboxes, just like a pre-select.
Yeah, it's cool.
I remember I was at Xfinity in Philadelphia, like Xfinity Live, and it wasn't Touch Tunes, but like someone talked to the DJ and he put like a Disturbed song on.
Oh my god!
It wasn't. It was down with the sickness, I think.
Oh yeah, that's the big one, right?
And these group of girls were just like, "What the fuck?" It was so.
Oh man,
Pissed them off.
What a horrible song.
I do like it though. It's a good. I kind of like the song.
For this circumstance.
No, I think it's a good song. A little bit.
If the crowd hates it, I mean. My dad will play songs at bars that don't match the atmosphere at all, and he's not even at them. He'll just go on his phone for fun, and he'll play bars on the Touch Tunes thing at places that he's not at. Just to fuck with them.
That's a really funny way to like remotely mess with someone.
Yeah, just pick the most inappropriate songs, like Disturbed again. Playing Disturbed Down with Sickness at the Woodstown Tavern, incredibly inappropriate. It's like, who the fuck put this on? You should be listening to Willie Nelson or something. So, and he'll wait for like a Friday night or a Saturday night, and he'll go on the app and he'll. It's so funny. I used to get mad at him that he does that, but at this point it's just so funny. I just laugh at it. I don't care. The guitar is an excellent instrument to make sound effects on.
Yeah.
Not only music, but just because of that metal string, you can make a lot of weird, a lot of like sci-fi sounds, especially if you're using a slide. Or they used a lot of springs. I'm pretty sure when they made the Star Wars sound effects. And Star Trek too, probably. Metal strings and metal pickups and stuff like that.
I think
electromagnets.
I think my favorite like horror movie track is The Thing by John Carpenter. That's a really good one. I remember I was in a warehouse working like it was like a day off day, so I was like the only person in this huge warehouse, and I put that soundtrack on while wearing AirPods, and I was just like walking around the warehouse. It was like,
did you get creeped out?
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds scary.
Yeah, it was cool though. Getting scared.
Yeah, the music at Edge today wasn't horrible. Sometimes it's bad. I think sometimes the employees plug into the aux cord. So they just play whatever music they're into.
I think they do that.
Yeah. But then other times it's like Edge Radio. And that stuff's not.
I remember I wanted to make
It's not great, but it's not bad.
I remember I wanted to make a soundscape of like being in an Edge Fitness for like 1 minute. And I forgot I think I actually wrote it down like a while ago. Give me 1 sec.
I did get a smoothie today.
Was it good? Was it better than the one at Cherry Hill Mall?
Oh my god.
That we went to that one time. That one time?
Yes, it was. Yes.
I remember we hung out and I think we just like hung out and we were like goofing around or something, and then we went to the Cherry Hill Mall because he ran out of stuff to do, and then we got a smoothie and it was like the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
I have it written down. It's called POV. It's 10:50 p.m. at Edge Fitness and about to close. Muffled "Lose My Mind" by DMX in the background, censored version.
Yeah, of course.
Vacuum
censored.
cleaner interrupting every now and then. Me saying whatever the associate at the front says to inform the lifters to leave. Oh, that's what you know. Oh,
Sir, we're closing in
we are closing
10
in
minutes.
10 minutes. Other muffled rap over the previously Edge Fitness music from someone's headset. Every now and then the music cuts off and attention, Edge Fitness members. Yeah.
The store is closing in 10 minutes.
I have something written here called picking up a quesadilla from Wawa. How I met, image it. And then I have like a Smash Brothers Melee sound effect in there. All right, I should probably stop looking at this.
So,
Yeah.
I was at a bar and I was with my friend Danielle, and then we ended up making friends with a couple people that were sitting next to us. So we were all talking, like we were talking down and it was loud. So we were like yelling down the bar at each other. And this is the same bartender I've had. I remember. You remember when people are nice to you, but you remember when people are rude to you even more,
Yeah.
especially when you see them again.
Yes.
I remember this woman being rude to us years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, for no reason at all. Same lady, still at the same bar. Okay, never mind. Same lady at the same bar. Big surprise, right? Years later, same situation. Really wasn't being. She told us to stop our conversation because she didn't like what we were talking about.
Were you talking about something intense or?
Kind of. But no, it wasn't crazy. It was a busy night. It was like a Saturday night at a really busy bar. We weren't the loudest ones there, by any means. And then I got the food poisoning the next day. So so my thing was, this lady
She
gave me food poisoning.
She probably
right?
poisoned you. Yeah.
Yeah, my French fries or my gin and tonic or whatever. That's what I had. I had French fries and a gin and tonic. That's all I ordered. So I don't know how you give someone food poisoning through that, but
You could poison the fries.
yeah, you could.
Yeah.
You could. It was bad. It's not the most pleasant subject to be talking about on a podcast is food poisoning, but
Well,
I know
actually,
that you
now that you bring up food poisoning.
well, you remember Wawa quesadilla, so I thought about my story with the bartender.
That was awful, man. I was out for like 2 days. I couldn't like work.
Yeah.
I was straight up like bed locked, and like I didn't have Pepto, so I had to like.
I missed my neighbor's funeral because I had food poisoning.
Really?
Yeah,
Jeez.
pretty bad.
I just missed.
I couldn't move. I mean, yeah, you missed work.
Yeah.
Missing a funeral is worse. But
Yeah.
no, I couldn't move. I couldn't actually leave.
No, I couldn't
Leaving
either.
the house, I couldn't leave the room that I was in. I just kind of had to stay where I was.
No, I
Without
was-
getting too graphic. I wasn't able to.
I was in pain, but there's a Rite Aid near me, and I just went to that, and then like got everything, and then I just immediately drove back, and I almost like died.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't actually had Wawa in a while. I think from growing up around here and from working on the road for years and having Wawa be like a mainstay stopping place, I kind of got sick of it.
Yeah.
So I don't really go to Wawa that often. When I was staying in Virginia, I had a Sheetz down the road from me, and that was sort of my main place. But in Virginia, it's a little different. There are little kind of little shops that you can stop at that aren't chains, which I like that more. So yeah, and Sheetz is a nice chain. Sheetz is like Wawa and 7-Eleven combined.
Cheese is really good.
Yeah,
They have
they have mac and cheese bites.
also their buildings are made of brick.
Yeah, they are, and they have seating areas inside of them,
Yeah.
which Wawa does not have. You have to sit in your car and idle in the parking lot in front of the no idling sign if you want to eat your food at Wawa. What the fuck?
There is something special about eating in your car and it's not moving.
It is nice, especially if you
Yeah.
like your car. I'm not, but
The view
look,
the view has to be good though. It's either the front it's either like the front of your house or like you're about to see a train move.
You're staring at the no idling sign in the Wawa parking lot with
Yeah.
like dirty
No,
concrete floor and
that sucks,
the
yeah.
employee bringing a trash thing outside and someone else is smoking a cigarette. It's not the most pleasant
No,
place to be
that's
eating
no.
food. And you're idling anyway. You're sitting in your car, you're idling if it's warm or cold outside. Right?
Yeah.
People leave their windows up in the summer here. I feel like I'm the only one with my windows down. So all your people are idling. But Sheetz sorry. But Sheetz has this, and Royal Farms has it too. the little seating area.
I do like that area.
Yeah. Although Royal Farm seems excessive, kind of. I don't doubt their validity as a company, but there's already so much going on here in New Jersey that whenever I see Royal Farms, it's like it's been shoehorned in.
Yeah, kind of.
Doesn't necessarily have to be there. They're getting the traffic because of how many people are here. Mm-hmm. But
not because it's good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Well, no, yeah.
I do like their shelves, right? So in Royal Farms, if you notice, in the shelving, at least around like where the candy and power bars are, there's a little lighting in the shelves.
That is nice.
Yeah, and that comes from, I've seen that in the makeup aisle in Target. So I think that's like a makeup thing to have lights in the aisle in the shelves.
I just put lights on everything.
So I don't know. I don't know what it is. I've seen it in those two places.
It makes it look holy.
It does look nice though.
It looks it looks holy.
Yeah. Yeah, when you're getting your Snickers bar, there's a special little puddle light.
It's been like blessed.
Yeah. It's not as bad for you that way. But yeah, it's weird. We have Walgreens and CVS, and sometimes the two pharmacies are across the street from each other. Just weird.
Yeah. Oh, I do want to add though, Wawa's been just like weird lately. I was at the one in Cherry Hill, and there's this guy with this like skateboard helmet on, like in there.
Okay.
I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. And he was talking.
Yeah, it's kind of cold for skateboarding.
Yeah, and he was talking, and then he seemed like he was getting in an argument with someone on his phone. I was just getting coffee, and he was like, you know what? I'm tired of you cops pulling guns on me. How would you like it if I pulled a gun on you? What if I knew where your son lived and I found him and shot him? And I thought it was like a real phone call, and I was getting I turned, and he had no phone. It was just him having a schizophrenic episode.
Oh my God.
And I just like got my coffee.
Oh, thank God. That's so much better.
It is, yeah, but like,
I'm like, what?
He said that. I was like, holy shit. And I got my coffee, and I just like ran to the self-checkout, and I sprinted out. I was like, he's about to like punch someone in the face.
What kind of place are we living in when that's better?
I don't know. Looking back on it,
I said that sarcastically, but I wasn't actually being sarcastic. It is better that man was having a schizophrenic break.
Yeah.
Because only he is in danger. There's nobody else.
I guess, but
until he gets behind the wheel.
Well, no, I think he was like looking back on it. I think he was homeless.
Oh yeah.
But like, I didn't get I didn't get the skateboard helmet thing. I was like, why is he wearing that? That's
well, I would say that if he was homeless, he was wearing the helmet for warmth. But there are holes in the helmet specifically to keep you cool.
But if you have nothing else, you.
Yeah, well, you could fill the holes with napkins, and napkins are free at Wawa. So he might have been filling his helmet holes with napkins to stay warm.
That's why he was at Wawa.
Yeah, I think we cracked the case, dude. I think this is it. It's been on your mind all week. We finally figured it out.
That is not something I would think of when I was, if I was like homeless, I'd be like, oh shit, gotta go to Wawa, stuff my helmet.
If I was homeless, I wouldn't stay here.
Yeah.
It's too cold here to be homeless.
It is. Man.
I'd fly south like a bird. Become a beach bum somewhere.
Live on the beach.
Yeah.
You could,
rather be homeless in a nice place.
You can hijack a rowboat and then flip it over and then make that your house.
I could, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be stealing, I'd be a criminal. So I'd be homeless and a criminal, but
no,
this life is about adventure, so.
You steal the boat, right, that lifeguards use.
Oh, that big old thing?
You steal that and then you paint it. With the paint, with the paint
to save people's lives.
Yeah, and then you paint it with the paint you stole from the painters painting the houses outside in the shore towns, and then you get black paint, and then in letters you write Liam's house.
I like that. Yeah, so everyone knows that it's not.
And if anyone tries to like assault you, you just say you're a sovereign citizen.
That's fine. Yeah, and I say my name's on it. What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah,
my name's on it.
It's like
it's made this way.
I have my own republic here. it's like a few sticks. Like, yeah, I don't know. You want to talk about part 2 of Star Trek? I really liked that scene where think you and me were. I was laughing harder. It was the scene where Crusher just saved.
Yeah.
Picard is like currently like getting scanned in by like.
Picard is
Data.
all borged up.
He's borged.
So
Yeah.
at this point, this is the second part of the episode. The Borg have destroyed at Captain Picard's command. Well, Captain Borg Picard, Lucretius, whatever you want to call him leading the pack, they destroyed basically the entire Starfleet's fleet at Wolf 359. They're moving towards Earth, but the crew was able to get Picard back at least. Mm-hmm. And they got him in Data's laboratory, and Data's trying to wire his brain into Picard's brain.
And Picard snaps out of the Borg consciousness for like a minute, and he's like, sleep. And he's trying to communicate like, oh, send this command to the Borg collective unconscious. And then Beverly Crush is just like, oh my god, he must be exhausted. And I thought that was so funny.
It is really funny.
And Data's just like, he does the head turn, and he's like, wait a minute.
You know what was funny too? The almost surprised look on his face when Commander Riker gives the first officer position to Shelby.
Yeah, he
of him.
He looked at Worf like, this bitch.
Yeah,
Like
almost a little bit, like an Android version of that.
He's like, you could see it. You could see him say it, but then he goes back to being like an android.
Yeah,
It was
pretty funny.
And it was a good episode.
Yeah, very actiony.
Yeah.
A lot of the fleet gets destroyed.
Like three important ships get like rocked, right? I think it was
More than that.
Oh, well, there was like three important ones.
Like tens of ships get destroyed at Wolf 359.
Oh yeah, I guess it's the one Shipley said, but yeah.
I mean, the Admiral ship gets destroyed for sure. But leading up to it, they said, there's like 30 or 40 ships converging on Wolf 359.
That's like
Starfleet and the Klingons.
How many?
And they all got destroyed.
How many like people are on those ships in total? Usually.
That's the thing. It was like thousands of people. That's why I brought up when when I was talking about Picard earlier at the end of the episode when he was just staring off into the distance. He must have just been thinking because he remembered everything. The first thing Riker asks him when Picard is disconnected from the Borg is, "Do you remember anything, or what do you remember of it?"
Yeah.
And Picard said he remembers everything. So he remembers destroying every ship. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
That sucks.
But long-lasting implications there.
Yeah.
And you see that with Commander Sisko in DS9 in the beginning. Sisko has his own little transformation there because he meets the prophets and he has this kind of transcendental experience with them, and then he comes back. I don't know how recently you've watched the DS9 pilot, but they have that tense scene. Mm-hmm. But then when they meet again at the end of the episode, Sisko is forgiven Picard, it seems.